Oh yeah, it's me, Grim Tooth, and I hope you're ready for a brand new book. Now, I know you don't want to miss out on this action, That's why I put this code up for you to scan. It'll take you straight to the back of Kit page, and you can be notified on launch day. Delay, scan this code, or else I'm gonna get angry!
Deathbringer here. Subscribe so you never miss an upload.
Okay, so I admit it. I was wrong about Daggerheart. I was sure it was going to be a D20 D&D clone. But if you go back and watch that video, I was right about one thing. I said that Matt Mercer would change the initiative system. How did I know that? Because D&D's initiative system is boring and time-consuming. It's easily the most boring part of watching Critical Role. I have watched these professionals take 90 seconds to 2 minutes just to figure out who's going first. Modern games like Dungeon World and Viking Death Squad crunch that initiative roll into your attack roll, and even older games like Warhammer and Call of Cthulhu have a static initiative score, which means players take their turns much, much faster. But this video is not about initiative. It's about improving your pacing, and if you want to improve your pacing, the number one thing you can do is eliminate what screenwriters call shoe leather. Now you're probably wondering, what is that? That's not in the Dungeonmaster's guide. Have you ever noticed that people on television and movies, they talk like this? Rooney, meet me on the corner of 49th and 9th in 10 minutes and bring backup. They never say hello. They never say goodbye. That's what Hollywood screenwriters call shoe leather. Unnecessary talking and unnecessary walking. And it kills your pacing, which is what this video is really about. In a typical session, I'll have 10 to 12 encounters, and 2 to 3 of those will be combat encounters, and these are 5th to 7th level characters, and we'll get a session done in about 2 to 3 hours. And I'm not rushing it, I just eliminate the shoe leather. And in case you don't know, I'm Professor Dungeonmaster, and this channel is about homebrew and do-it-yourself role-playing games. And shoe leather in RPGs comes in 4 forms. 1. Rolling needlessly. 2. Shopping trips. 3. Over-narration. And 4. Awkward role-playing, where the players aren't really sure what they should be asking for. And I'm going to show you how you can easily solve all of these issues. First, let's talk about rolling needlessly. So, searching, perception checks, investigation checks. If there is a secret door behind the bookcase, and all 5 or 6 of your players say, we're going to search the bookcase, you don't need to make any sort of a search roll. There is a roughly 0% chance that secret door is not going to be found. So why are you rolling for it? There are so many rolls that are just not necessary. If there is some sort of monster on the ceiling and your characters are 7th level or above, someone's going to have a 28 perception. So unless that monster's legendary action is they can't be seen, you don't have to roll perception, they're going to see it. It's the same thing in Call of Cthulhu with library use. I'm an academic, I know actual librarians. And there's a 0% chance that you're not going to be able to find the thing you need in the library. You just ask the librarian. You just walk in and say, excuse me, I'm looking for an eldritch tome bound in human skin and I can't seem to find it. And she'll say, I know exactly where it is. It's in our special eldritch tome room. And she will take you to it. Same thing with looking in the halls of records. I've actually done that because I have a really ancient house, and the deeds in the survey exist in old books, not even on microfiche. And I just went down to the town hall and said to the clerk, I don't know what I'm looking for. And he said, no problem. I'll show you what you're looking for. And it took all of about 5 minutes. So if there's a clue to be found and the players investigate, just give it to them. 2, have shopping trips happen off screen. You ever see a Batman movie where he goes to Costco to pick out tires for his Batmobile? Give the Michelin or the Goodyear, what's on sale? That doesn't happen because it's boring, and so is watching the other players go shopping. So if you have a session 0, tell your players, we do our shopping off screen. If you want to look for shirts or swords in Waterdeep, just text me between sessions and I'll tell you if you find the thing you need. And if they have a cockamamie scheme, like they want to buy 10,000 mirrors so they can build a solar beam that'll destroy vampires, which actually happened in Critical Role, they don't need to tie up 20 minutes of the player's time to do that. Again, just have it happen between sessions. Believe me, all the players will thank you. 3, over narration. If you want to describe a setting, you say, you enter a dockside tavern. It's smoky and smells of brine. There's something unusual about this tavern that makes it different from all the other dockside taverns you've visited. What is it? And let the players tell you. Now, instead of being passive observers, you're inviting them to create the setting, which will make it more memorable for them. But again, you don't need that many details. Most players have either been in that type of tavern or they've at least seen it in a movie, and your brain will fill in the gaps. Of course, you also need to be careful about the details you do include. Just this week, I ran the Caves of Chaos for one of my teenage groups, and I described a withered tree outside one of the caves. And instead of going into the cave, the fighter decided to attack the tree. Then the wizard tried to burn the tree, and the druid wanted to heal the tree. The lesson being, if a detail is not crucial, don't mention it. I've been asked many times how I handle overland travel in my games. I have a module, Macbeth, where the characters sail from Scotland to England, and I just say, after a long day of rough seas, you're grateful to step off the boat onto the English shore. A retinue of soldiers escort you to Prince Malcolm. That's it. That's how Shakespeare did it. That's how I do it. And 4, awkward role-playing. Ever notice in a police procedural, if they're looking for a missing person, it'll often cut to the person who's being interviewed looking at a photograph and saying, "Oh, I recognize them." You cut out the introduction of the detectives. Let's say your player's trying to find their favorite missing NPC. She went to the town of Orlane to investigate the cult of the reptile god. So your players go to the only tavern and the barkeep is cleaning some mugs, and the worst thing you can do is say to them, "What do you say to him?" Immediately, they're going to try to start thinking of the secret cheat code that will help them win the conversation, like there's a perfect response, and they may even start arguing with each other. "Oh, we should say this," or "we should say that." Some of them may have some kind of weird plan, like they create a false identity and say, "We've been sent by the King's Royal Health Department to investigate your mattresses to see if they have lice." And you're like, why are you doing this? It's like way more complex than it needs to be. Instead, you say, "What do you want to do? Talk to the innkeeper?" Okay, after 10 minutes of chit-chat, he says, I think I do remember that young lady. Elf ears, wasn't it? She stopped in about a fortnight ago, and I didn't know anything about a cult of the reptile god, but I said there is an evil temple right down Evil Temple Way. See what I did? We cut out the introductions and got right to the plot, and that will move the game along. Now let me show you how to put it all together in a single take. You go to the mansion of a prosperous merchant, Johann Munchberger. A servant shows you into his wood-paneled office. He sits behind an immense desk, twirling his mustache, and says, "I'll come right to the point. A certain magic item has recently appeared in the city. The details of how and why are quite inconsequential. What is important is it's mine, and currently in the possession of the Snake Gang. If you can return this item to this desk by sunrise, I will pay you the sum of 400 gold pieces. Have you any questions?" Notice I didn't describe the mansion, like, are there tapestries and oil paintings on the wall? Probably. Your mind probably filled in that gap. Did you imagine a fireplace crackling in the side? Did you imagine Munchberger is a heavy-set guy? I just said he was behind a huge desk, and his name is Munchberger. And I was able to paint a picture in very few words, and a few well-chosen words is all you need. I also rehearsed that speech a couple times, and that's how to make your game flow and be a lot more immersive. At least, that's what I think. What do you think? I'd love for you to share in the comments below. Also below, you'll find links to Dungeon Craft Patreon, Deathbringer at DriveThruRPG, and check out my Lost City campaign. It is the best video I've ever made. An entire campaign in 25 minutes. And I'll see you then. May all your rolls be 20.
Deathbringer again. My shoe leather is made from tiefling skin. Ah, tieflings, the tender of the 5th edition. While I'm hunting them to extinction, click on these videos to watch more Dungeon Craft.